Welcome back, everybody. This is the Benjinator, and you're watching Let's Play Xenogears, the greatest JRPG on Earth. So last time we made it through the final Anima Relic dungeon. We got something for Rico Banderas, and so it looks like his gear is improved. But on our way out, we encountered an old friend, Mr. Hammer. And it looks like this time he's been transformed into kind of a cyborg meld. And he's intent on attacking us. And it's Krelian's fault. Krelian, kind of seduced him into saying, I can make you more powerful. Use nano machines. And now we're going to be taking him out in a battle that is actually fraught with frustration, as you'll see. So, we're going to be looking at that right now. Once my player gets rolling. There we go. So you might be noticing that my party's a little bit different. This is actually my fourth attempt to beat this battle. And the thing to keep in mind is that this battle actually really isn't that hard. The gel attack is about the only powerful thing that he actually does. What makes this battle difficult is something that you'll be seeing in just a little bit. Once you get him down to a certain amount of energy, well, he does all these self-modifications too, which are pretty interesting. When he gets down to a certain amount of HP, what happens is that Hammer gets stunned. He stops operating, but you have to shave off about 25,000 HP in a matter of turns. I think it's like 3 or 4 or 5, something around that. I didn't keep count exactly. But the idea is that you have to make sure that he is dead in 3 or 4 or 5 turns. Otherwise, he self-destructs. And if he self-destructs, you can't get the Trader's Card. And the Trader's Card is an item that allows you to... that increases the chances greatly of your, of enemies dropping rare items. And the reason why this is so incredibly key is because this allows certain enemies to drop items near the end of the game, which can be sold for a lot of money. Which means that you can use this money to, get the, upgrades for your gears that are, that I think are maybe not super necessary, but incredibly helpful in getting to the end of the game. So getting the Trader's Card is really important. And if you want to do that, you have to make sure to kill him in a short period of time. Now, the thing is that before, I was using Billy, Citan, and Faye. But I decided, ultimately, the best thing to do would be to get Barton here, just because I've used him so often. So my strategy, if you haven't been noticing, has been to use System Mid for Faye. And the other thing that I'm doing is that I am trying to get up to Hyper Mode with both Citan and Billy. Or not Billy, I should say. Bart. So make sure that who you have in your party is in an Omni gear. That's really important to keep in mind. Having Omni gears is important because that means you have a much better chance of getting into Hyper Mode. So right now it's at 10%. But I'm holding back. See, I'm not using Citan's level 3 attack because I'm waiting for Hyper Mode. Thankfully for Faye, it's an automatic thing in System Mid. But with this particular attempt, I am successful, and you'll see very, very shortly that Hammer is going to go into his kind of stunned, almost blowing up mode. And every time I'm just holding back, just keeping it at level 3, just keep holding back. And then Faye, of course, is going to go into System Mid mode. And a lot of this is luck, too. Because your chances of getting into... Hyper Mode are only so much. But also, like, there could be a mistiming where System Mid wears off. And you have to spend another turn to get it back. And that can be pretty tragic as well. So, alright, we're... yeah, there we go. Now, we actually are in... Hyper Mode. And I do actually spend it does use the Crane Senritsu. We haven't seen this before. Does a decent amount of damage. So, unfortunately that wasn't ideal. Like, ideally you would want Hyper Mode to take place once Hammer's in his, downed mode. But that's coming up pretty soon. If you just keep dishing damage to him, he will be. So now he's in his downed mode, finally. So even though we wasted 1 turn with Citan, we still get 2 more turns to do this, so that's helpful. Stabby, stabby, stabby. Boo, 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 boo. So at this point, if Bart is not in I don't think Bart actually got into hyper mode. At this point, I just kind of unleashed his level 3 attack. I mean, the idea is that, of course, you just want to try to knock off as much HP as humanly possible before he explodes. So that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, it's the first time I played through this game, I did not get the trader's card, and I was actually talking to my roommate, Jared, and he also remarked that he didn't get the trader's card the first time either. So, it's an easy item to miss. It's something that you can easily overlook, and it's easy to underestimate how important it is to have access to getting more money near the end of the game, because that's extremely helpful. So there we go. We just killed him. Because we lobbed off enough damage, and that's important. Get the level ups, that's great, and the trader's card. Now, this is going to be juxtaposed with a couple of unsuccessful attempts. So this was a couple times back, where Billy, of course, has no ammo because I forgot to get some. So this is completely useless. But you also see that, despite my efforts, it doesn't quite work out. So we did get to use System Mid. I was keeping up pretty consistently with that. But Seitan Yuzuki, this is a mistake that I believe I made, is just kind of attacking and using up your attack levels instead of conserving them. And so that's of course kind of a mistake. That's not something you want to do. And you know, it also helps if you get ammo for the correct people. So yeah, this is not something that's recommended unless you really feel like you're on the edge of defeating him. But using these level 1 attacks doesn't really help. It's much better to save it for level 3, because otherwise you have something like self-destruct, and that's always tragic. And this is another attempt that also didn't quite work out. This is just kind of a fail compilation, when what I really should have done is continue to build energy levels before he goes into this mode and try to get to level 3, because just like the death blows, your level 3 attack will just do an astronomical higher amount of damage than your level 1 attacks. So that's something that's really key about understanding how to be successful in Xenogears, is that the higher level death blows just do exponentially more damage. It's not like there's some other games. There we go. Those are the 2 unsuccessful attempts. But yeah, basically, getting as many death blows as possible is very helpful. It'll do a lot more damage. It's not like your lower level death blows will be suddenly more powerful. They're still going to do about the same amount of damage from the beginning of the game to the end, with very, very small increases. So I guess Rico was next in line to be the Kaiser, which makes sense because, as we found out, Rico is actually the illegitimate son of the Kaiser. I haven't seen that guy in a while, huh? Well, I guess this is the end of Hammer. Hammer time's over. Well, to be fair, Hammer was only really useful in one part of the game. He kind of disappeared after the whole Kislev sewer thing. So Hammer probably was happy, I would say, because being a mutant is incredibly painful. Yeah, exactly, as it says right there. It was the pain. Well, goodbye, Hammer. You probably shouldn't have shot Ellie's mom. That was kind of a dick move. Of course, Ellie's gonna get emotional over a lot of things. He's okay. It happens. Well, this is sad. So we're basically, in the process of saving the world, we're also killing off our friends and acquaintances. That's tragic. Oh, man. Is there going to be a confrontation? Ramses has been convinced to kill the Emperor, it looks like. Oy vey. But you know, Myung and Krelian, they're not exactly a couple of trustworthy folks. Do it, Ramses. Redeem yourself in the eyes of your creator. Even though, It's possible Cain created you in some way. Well, that's not true. Krelian did. Krelian created Ramses in a lab. And now he's doing Krelian's bidding. Oh. Yeah, that was pretty obvious that Krelian was not exactly on the side of the Gazel Ministry either. These bastards. Haha. You're in my way, says Krelian. So it looks like, so it sounds like what it is that Cain agreed to help out Krelian because Krelian said, well, I can help make human beings live longer. So it's pretty obvious that Emperor Cain had a very different view about humanity than the Gazel Ministry. Like he's got a very different agenda, which probably was why he was working with Citan. All right, let's see if this stab works. Oh, looks like it. Well, his mask just came off, and the paintings are now in disarray. So yeah, Cain just has some black head now, or had one. Now we can assume that he doesn't exist anymore. Well, that's that. Their objectives are complete, huh? Yep, got Cain. Well, now they get to use that key, right? They were talking about. Logical. I don't know. This doesn't seem very logical, guys. I mean, trying to revive some ancient god or whatever you're doing by using the power of flesh seems a little bit crazy. The Anima Relics. So I guess all of them... I guess that means that all of the Anima Relics have been brought back. Dan Joseph Gad. So... yeah, these are all the names of the 12 tribes of Israel, I guess. Yeah, there we go. So I guess every, that's interesting. So it looks like all of the Xenogears, or the Anima Relics, are named after the 12 tribes of Israel, and they're all aligned with particular, just human, it seems. So that's interesting. So I guess the all this had to be put in place before they got to use this key, and obviously they had to get rid of Cain because Cain was not on their side. Oh boy, is this it? We're gonna unleash God now. Well, that is one funky looking key. I mean, aren't they on just a battleship in the sky? And they have this massive keyhole. Alright, well, now what awful things are going to happen now that we've turned this key? Oh, man. That is creepy. That is those are some intense circles. Oh, now what's going to happen? Damn it, Cain, you should have just held out a little bit longer. You're the only one that could have stopped them. Oh no. Now everybody's turning into wells. Does that mean we are too? Shit, we're all gonna become zombies. This isn't good, man. This is real bad. Damn it, Ramses. This is your fault. Oh boy. So now everybody's turning into you. Just as we were starting to get a... put our foot down on this shit with the get rid of the Soylent systems. Now it seems like everybody's turning into crazies. Once humans have filled the earth, God will awaken from his long sleep. And Manahan and paradise in the sky will soon follow. So now some real awful stuff's going down. And we already thought at the beginning of this disc that there was some craziness going on. But this is even worse. This is crazy. Oh boy. Manahan is coming. Manahan cometh. Oh boy. Oh boy. Well, this is going to be exciting. When I say exciting, I mean horrifying. Ugh. out in the ocean blue. Ariseth. It's gonna be intense, man. I know. God's resting place must look quite splendorous, right? Here it comes. Huh. Looks kind of like a... You know, like a Star Destroyer fused with a rock. And there's some, you know... You get to see some 16-bit moss, or 32-bit moss, I should say, dangling off the side. Fascinating. Well, I guess it's been underwater for a long time, so it kind of makes sense. You know, that shape looks a little bit familiar. Why could that be? Where have we seen that shape before? Well, I'll let you viewers ponder that a little bit before the next episode. So, well, they've done it. The Gazel Ministry, they got rid of Cain. They're able to turn a key. People are turning into mutants left and right. And God's resting place has emerged out of the ocean. So how bad is this going to get? Find out in the next episode of Let's Play Xenogears. This is the Benchinator, and thank you guys for watching.